Unit 1, Consumer Mathematics, covers the following topics: percent change and taxes, interest. We'll talk about both simple interest and compound interest. Consumer loans. We'll discuss installment loans and credit card problems. We'll also talk about annuities. Oftentimes when people are saving for retirement or saving for their children's college education, they will make regular periodic payments into a fund for an extended period of time, and they'll often invest in an annuity. For example, we'll look at a problem in that section where we talk about what does our monthly payment need to be into an annuity in order to have $1 million by the time we reach retirement. And then the last topic in consumer mathematics is amortization. We'll be talking about buying a house and determining our monthly mortgage payment. Today we're going to be working in the section percent change and taxes. We're going to talk about converting from percents to decimals, decimals to percents, and fractions to percents. And we're also going to be talking about the percent equation. But first, let's do some conversions. We're going to convert 4% to a decimal. We're going to convert 1 305 thousandths to a percent. And we're going to convert the fraction 15/16 to a percent. First, let's just talk about what percent means. Percent, if you look at the word, you see the word cent in there, and think about how many cents are in a dollar. If there were 100 cents in a dollar, well, percent means per 100. And in math, the word per often means divide. For example, miles per gallon would be the miles driven divided by the gallons of fuel used. Let's convert 4% to a decimal. We can take 4% and we say, okay, we need to divide by 100. And 4 divided by 100 can be thought of or written this way: 4 divided by, or 4 over 100. And this fraction is actually read 4 hundredths. Well, in decimal form, 4 hundredths is 0.04. There is a shortcut for going from percent to decimal. It's sometimes called the decimal slide. What we do is we take our percent number and we slide the decimal 2 steps to the left, because if you notice, 4% in decimal notation became 0.04, or 4 hundredths. So if we do this decimal slide approach, we would take 4%, and if you don't see the decimal in a number, the decimal is at the far right. And what we're going to do is we're going to slide the decimal 2 steps to the left. There's 1 step. We'll need to add a 0. There's 2 steps. So the decimal will be here. So 4% is 0.04, or 4 hundredths. Now let's convert 1 305 thousandths to a percent. Well, if going from percent to decimal, we divided by 100, then going from a decimal to a percent, we're going to multiply by 100. And tack on a percent symbol. So if we take this number and multiply it by 100, we'll have 130.5, but we've got to remember that's percent. So we have 130.5%. Or if you want to talk about the decimal slide, to go from a decimal to percent, what we do is we take our number and we slide the decimal 2 steps right. And add a percent symbol. So we'll take this number and we'll slide the decimal 2 steps right. Here's where the decimal was originally. We'll slide 2 steps right. And we'll have 130.5. Be sure and add your percent symbol for your final answer. Next, we're going to convert a fraction to a percent. It's going to take 2 steps. First, we've got to convert from fraction to decimal. And that will involve division. We'll have to take 15 and divide it by 16. And make this just a little bit larger. So if we take 15 and divide it by 16, we'll have 9,375 ten-thousandths. And that's decimal form. And then step 2 is convert the decimal to percent. So if we take our number in decimal form and convert to a percent, if you do the decimal slide, you move the decimal 2 steps right and tack on the percent symbol. With 93.75%. Next, we're going to talk about the percent equation and use it to solve the following problems. What is 85% of 300? 33 is what percent of 176? And 60 is 15% of what number? Well, first let's talk about the percent equation. The percent equation is percent times base equals amount. Now, percent's pretty easy to find in the problem because that's the number that has the percent symbol attached to it. The base is often after the word of. So let's see what we can do with the percent equation. First problem, what is 85% of 300? Okay, first I'm going to write down the percent equation. Percent times base equals amount. And I'm going to go find my percent number, 85%. And then after the word of, I see 300. That's my base. So we're going to have 85%. The word of often means to multiply in math. So 85% of, or times our base of 300, will be our amount. Well, I can't do a calculation in percent form, so I have to convert that to a decimal, and we already know about that. We move the decimal 2 steps to the left and drop the percent symbol. So we're going to take 8,500 or 0.85 times 300 to see what our amount is. So let's see on our calculator, 0.85 times 300 equals 255. So 255 is equal to our amount. Let's do another example. 33 is what percent of 176? Well, I don't see percent here anywhere, so we're solving for percent. I'm going to write my percent equation again. Percent times base equals amount. I don't know my percent number. Now, after the word of is 176, there's my base. And so my amount is 33. So we have percent times 176 equals 33. To solve for percent, we'll divide by 176. So I have percent equals 33 divided by 176. So 33 divided by 176. In decimal form, we get 0.1875. But we must remember that's not our final answer because that's not in the correct form. We've got to convert that decimal to a percent. So you're going to slide the decimal 2 steps right and tack on the percent symbol. So the final answer is 18.75%. Our last example is 60 is 15% of what number? Again, I'm going to write my percent equation down. Percent times base equals amount. I have my percent number. I have 60. 60 is my amount this time because after of what number, the unknown is the base, so we don't know the base in this particular problem. So 15% times our unknown base is equal to 60. Again, I can't compute with percent, so I write this in decimal form. 15% of the decimal is 0.15 or 1500ths times our base is equal to 60. To solve for base, divide both sides by the 0.15 for the 1500ths. So base is equal to 60 divided by 1500ths is 400.